Hi everybody, Michelle McClunan here, astrologer and life coach, and I'm coming to you with a brief update on the new moon that's coming up on the 12th of April in the very fiery sign of Aries. And every month we have a new moon. This one sets the trajectory really for the year. It's the first new moon of the astrological year. 2 weeks ago we had a full moon, which was opposite the sign of Aries in Libra. Now we have a new moon, which is really the planting of the seeds for what we want to really bring into our lives in the year ahead. The sun and the moon at new moon are always together in the sky at the same degree. And this time, we don't only have the sun and the moon, we have the planet Mercury, which is the planet of the mind, of communication, of how we engage, how we communicate. We also have the planet of love, which is Venus, which is the planet of relationship. And we have Chiron, the wounded healer, which is often associated with our fears. And the moon, the sun, and Venus are all in what we call a square. So it means that it's in a 90-degree angle to Pluto, which kind of intensifies things a little. So for me, what this is saying is, first of all, yes, it's a time to plant new seeds for the year ahead, as we always do. But this year is a little bit different. With what we are faced with on our planet right now and all the challenges that we faced with on a daily basis, many people are going through huge challenges. A lot of our fears are coming to the surface. Our fears about the future, our fears about security and money, our fears about relationship, our fears about how we're going to survive, what's going to happen. Many of us want to know the future, but we can't, we don't know what's going to happen. Even astrologers can't tell you what's going to happen. So where do we find the courage to actually move forward? And I think it's quite interesting that the word courage comes from heart, comes from the word le coeur, which is French for from the heart. So what I'm going to say is that this is a new moon where we can basically look at our fears. So courage does not mean having no fear. Courage means having fear, acknowledging that you're fearful, but moving through it. So walking through the fear, not backing off from it. You actually walk through it. And you hold yourself by the hand and you actually walk through. That's what true courage actually is. So what I would say this new moon, it's to look at, where are you fearful? To look at those fears really carefully and say, what am I really scared of here? Where does that fear come from? Is the fear a voice in my head, which is telling me all sorts of stories about the future, which I might or might not believe, which might or might not be true? Or is the fear coming from a deeper place? Where is the fear? Where is it situated in your body? What does it feel like? And this is the new moon to actually conquer that fear, to really look at it in the eyes and conquer it, move through the fear. So really fear, if you think about it, fear is, you can look at it as false evidence appearing real, which John often talks about. It's a separating energy, isn't it? Fear is limiting. When you are fearful about something, we shut down. We hunch over, our bodies go quite tight, we become smaller, we become little. We become fearful of the things that are bigger than us. That's fear. What's the opposite? Well, love is opposite to fear, actually, the way I see it. So what's love? Love is expansive. Love feels that you're in flow when you're in love. You're not limited. You're fully in tune, in alignment with the core of who you are, because love is the core. And fear is the separation from that. So this, for me, this new moon, is calling upon us to stand firm in our true authentic power. To say, okay, if I were not fearful, what decisions would I be making? And where is this fear coming from? Is this fear coming from the heart? Because it generally doesn't. Or is it coming from the head? And do I have the courage to move through this and to do what my heart is telling me, not what my head is telling me? Do I have the courage to step into my true authenticity, my true power, which is immense? Each of us carry within us immense power. And then all sorts of stories happen and all sorts of events happen to help us to believe that we don't have that power. And I believe this new moon and this year is about stepping back into that power, stepping back into our sovereignty, and setting our intentions for the year from a place of love rather than fear. So if you weren't fearful, what intentions would you set? If you really believed that you could do anything, what would you set your mind to? What would you set your heart to? What would you want to do out in the world? If you had a beautiful big dream for your life, what would it be if you didn't have any fear or doubt? And it's not about necessarily achieving that. It's about going towards it with that sense of openness and the sense of excitement, the sense of anticipation of something bigger. You're moving towards something rather than moving away from something. So it's a very, very powerful new moon. If things come up for you about self-value, about not feeling empowered, about self-doubt, just keep going back to, if I were to value myself, what would I do? How would I respond? If I really value my body, what would my decision be right now in any kind of situation? In terms of how would I treat my body? Would I feed my body good food or something that wasn't good for me? What choices would I make medically for my own body? Those are all courageous kind of decisions that we get to make. And I believe that when we're in a state of love, which is openness, we make better decisions. We're more aligned with the universe, with the universal flow. So it's a good new moon to set those intentions as if you were planting seeds for the whole year. What seeds are you planting? Are you planting seeds of fear or are you planting seeds of love? Because the seeds of fear are not going to grow into anything other than more fear. And the seeds of love are going to grow into beautiful, blooming plants that you can't even imagine. And that shines out of you and actually starts to create a vibration, and that ripples out into the planet. And that's what the world needs right now. The world needs courage, the courage of the heart. It needs each of us to stand in our sovereignty and our authenticity. It needs each of us to make decisions from our hearts and not from our heads. Just before new moon, it's a good idea to sit with your journal, release that which you don't need anymore. You can actually release your fears up to the universe and say, yeah, I don't need these anymore. They're not serving me. And if I were not to have fear, what would the seeds be that I'd plant? It's a beautiful new moon for that. And there's a lot of power here. There's a lot of energy here to kind of drive those intentions forward. It really is like a fresh new chapter. It's bearing in mind that whatever we plant and whatever we nurture grows. So what would you like to nurture? What would you like to grow in the next year? And bring that feeling full and center in your consciousness. Make that the priority, the feeling of that. So if you want to feel more expansion, then do things in your life that make you feel expanded. If you want more creativity, do things that make you feel more creative. If you want more connection, connect more. Connect with yourself, connect with other people. If you want more affection, be more affectionate. Hug somebody, hug a tree, hug each other, hug your cat. Connect with the way you want to feel, because that's going to fuel your intention. It's not about the end result. It's about how you feel in any moment. When we want to achieve something, we generally want to achieve something because we want to feel in a certain way. We want to travel because travel makes us feel alive. Travel makes us feel expanded. It gives us energy. So it's for us to actually find that within ourselves now, in whatever situation we're in, and then that grows. So what are the seeds that you want to plant this year? How do you want to feel? That's where we start. John and I have started another course, the Journey to Freedom 7. Bookings are still open. We're only in the first week. So if you would like to plant new seeds and actually have some support in your journey, please go to journeysofawakening.com. And we also have an inner space platform, which is a monthly community where we're really growing a beautiful community there. So you can have a look at that also on journeysofawakening.com. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you like this, please would you subscribe to my channel, share it if you find that it's helpful, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Have a beautiful weekend and an amazing new moon.